no, no, hey, no, 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 hey, no, no, hey.
I mean, how are you? Hot sauces. How are you?
I mean, like, I come from the Gulf Coast, and New Orleans is basically home.
Yes.
And we like food that makes your nose run.
This should do it.
Sweet.
Let's go.
I've got some sinus issues, especially this year,
We're gonna
especially
clean
so
those up.
I'm looking to remedy that with this, as well as
All right.
some chicken wings.
All right. Let's have the first wing.
All right. So which way?
Top. Yep.
Top left.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. See what happens.
All right. Cheers.
Buffalo sauce. Easy peasy.
Oh, sweet.
All right.
There are napkins.
Yeah. Just don't wipe your face. Right. Hometown roots. Growing up in Mississippi.
Yep.
Born and raised in South Mississippi, attending Baptist and then Catholic schools, basically the Bible Belt schools.
Wow, that's crazy. You know that.
And we're the self-described weird new metal kid who got teased for loving rock. How did growing up in a small Mississippi town under those conditions shape who you are today?
Oh, wow. Well, so I was very active in the church, with my mom. And, like I started out with like country, and some pop music, but like it would fringe on a lot of country. And then, my mom ended up putting me in Catholic school from a very young age. And then, I met my buddy, Caleb McBride, and his family like introduced me to rock music, and I fell in love because it was so rebellious. Like it was more amped up, because there's good country songs and pop songs, and there's definitely amped up pop songs. But what my mom was listening to at the time, I mean, she would sprinkle like Elton John and some stuff here or there, but it wasn't like rock, like heavy rock. And once I found that, like, I definitely got some pushback from my mom. She was like, "It's the devil's music," like, like she. And I started wearing like black T-shirts and spiking my hair up. And she's like, "You look like a freak." Like, it was so funny. And then I got my first tattoo, and my mom didn't speak to me for like 3 days, and I was like, "Oh, she's pissed," Like that's when not like, "Are you okay?" Blah 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 blah. So it definitely, I would say it probably made me gravitate more towards rock and roll because it was so rebellious. Right. And I felt something real whenever I listened to it, and it just drew me in.
Nice.
So.
Yeah. This is like being an outsider in that environment, raised by a single mom, immersed in comics and metal, right? It's like, how did that fuel your passion for it?
Well, I mean, dude, I grew up pretty damn angry, because I didn't have a dad, and then, my mom married my stepdad. But that void was still just kind of there, and rock music just kind of, I don't know, like that it felt like I was caught by rock, and like that anger, from that, just like it really, I found the correct outlet for that anger, and for that sadness, especially when you start discovering bands like Alice in Chains, and they make some of the most sad things like beautiful but heavy, and it's kind of the same thing, man. I found a safe haven where I could be myself, where like just all these bands said what was on my mind and in my heart that I couldn't necessarily say or formulate at the time, So I just felt very embraced by that world, and I always liked music, and when I got my first guitar at 10, I was like, all right, cool, I can start making angry sounds,
Right.
but pretty sounds at the same time.
Right.
So.
Secondly,
All right.
you ready?
Yeah.
I think this one's my favorite. I think.
Is this the Angry Goat?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like the name.
Mm-hmm.
I like the bottle too with the onion peppers. That is a good flavor.
Yeah. So growing up largely with just your mom, who were the key people that inspired you early on? I know you eventually crossed paths with Ed Bradell, who became like a father figure, even helping you get your band on tour with Taproot, and later contributing to actually joining Taproot a decade later.
Yeah.
And you share how your mother's support and mentors like Ed influenced your journey, and perhaps tell us a story on their impact that most people don't know.
First off, shout out to Ed Bridle. He and Kelly are some of the most amazing people, and Ed really did. When we started getting to know each other, like he definitely became, a mentor, of course, but like more like a father-like figure to where, and even still to this day, if I have an important life decision, like he's one of like 3 or 4 people that I'm like, hey man, you got an hour to chat, and I care what he says, and I know that he tells me things that he tells me because he loves me and cares about me, and I really am where I'm at because of his love and his support, and I just hope I'm making him proud. But I would say a big mentor for me was Jim Pinkston. He owned Pinkston's Music in Gulfport, Mississippi, and that's where I started taking guitar lessons at I would say about age 11, maybe between 11 and 12. Started at Music Go Round, then ended up there, and Jim was just larger than life. He was like the most genuine, but like had this car salesman like thing about him, like just he was just very he was comical, but he was suave, he was professional, he was like he knew how to get all eyes in the room on him.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he was a damn good salesman, but like he had a really, really great heart, and I was one of the, I would argue, lucky kids that got to hang out at Pinkston's, because I was taking guitar lessons there. We were actually purchasing instruments, and I didn't turn the amp on 12 and try to blast everybody out. I was pretty courteous about that, and I did get yelled at by Dave Devaney quite a bit for detuning guitars and not tuning them back up to standard. So that was always a good one. And Dave Devaney falls under that category too. Like, I mean, everyone at Pinkston's, and that's why, Jim, because he created this insanely huge family of just misfit musicians, but everybody was a badass. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like everyone from the teachers to the staff to the luthiers and the techs and having the family unit there. Like Jim was just kind of the embodiment of cool, and he was a touring musician himself, and I got to become really good friends with his son Jimmy, because we were the same age, and he had a younger brother as well, and I would go spend the night over at Jim's house, because I was having a sleepover with Jimmy, and we would play guitar together. We'd play video games together. Yeah. We would listen to Foo Fighters, rock. Awesome. Like we did the thing, like, and like his family knew my family, vice versa. And then I started working there at 17, and until he passed away at about age 27 or so. So I spent a good part of 20 years of my life under that roof, and he was essentially taught me about life, business, how to be a good man, and the integrity of a handshake and your word, and like he was just a very good person, and I kind of felt like the third redheaded stepchild. Like I still talk to Jimmy like pretty regularly, man. Like that's That's my family right there. And Jim just, he was one of those guys that actually sat down and would have the talk like, well, hey, what are your plans? I know you want to do this with music, but like, do you have plans after? Do you have a backup? Blah, blah, blah. Like he actually cared. So, I paid attention when he would share things with me, and I really feel like a lot of my success in terms of, because I mean, like, I technically am a salesman with my painting business, with music, with everything. Yeah. Like, I've worked in he taught me how to do things the right way, and you can make a sale, but you can still be honest about it, and
for sure.
He just taught me how to do good business, and so I would say Jim Pinkston was that other guy for sure.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Next wing.
Yeah. Let's go. I can't wait for him to start getting like stupid hot.
It might be 8 for you. I don't know what your tolerance level is, but 8's hot.
I really love Creole food. And Cajun. Crawfish boils. These are really good wings, by the way. Thank you.
I just air fried them.
Oh, yeah.
Like 30 minutes, 400 degrees. Nerdy beginnings, right? So in school, you weren't the popular kid. You were into comic books, rock music, while attending strict religious schools. You even started playing alto sax at 7, then guitar by 10. You picked up drums, bass, and more. What were those school days like for you?
Like, elementary wasn't terrible, but like started out grade 2 through 6th, and I mean, like, I definitely had my fair share of like getting picked on, and especially because of my left eye, like, I had to wear all sorts of goofy glasses, and I had all sorts of corrective surgeries, blah 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 blah. But yeah, man, like, I definitely, like, I got picked on by some of the football players, and jocks, whatever the hell you want to call it. And
me too.
It was,
my last name. That was mine. My name.
Yeah. Oh man. Wow. Fuck. Oh, can I say that?
Oh,
sorry.
Of course you can. Say whatever you want. Yeah, absolutely.
See, I got yelled at on the radio in with my buddy JJ the other day, and he because I'm just on a tangent, and then like dropped like three F-bombs, and he's like, Taylor, you're on the actual radio right now, like you can't do this right now, and thank God, like, he was able to edit it, but like, I did not make his life easy, anyway, back to it. But yeah, man, I mean, it's, normal, usual tale, like nerdy kid, but like I played D&D, I skateboarded, I was into new metal, like Papa Roach, Linkin Park, and, I had decent moments here or there, as every kid does, but I mean, like, I largely wasn't the greatest experience, so.
Yeah. It's like one of those things where you just... that's what it was. It was an experience, but it's not like I'd ever want to go back and relive the crappiness that you grew up with.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good. Like, I mean, I honestly, I skipped my high school reunion. I was like, well, first of all, I'm not paying money to hang out with people that didn't really hang out with me to begin with. Right. Like, sure. We haven't kept in touch. I mean, like, I hope you're doing great. Like, good. I hope you have a lovely life. Like. Yeah. Love to you, but you do it over there, and like if it was, I would argue a different experience. I'd be like, hell yeah, I can't wait to go see everybody, blah blah blah. But it just, and that's okay, man. Like, I'm not upset about it. Right. Like, it just is what it is.
You're
but
happy with how your life is now. Mm-hmm. That's what you're doing, is like focusing on what your life is and how it's going to turn out, not about the past.
No, dude.
Nope. So did an early interest or hobby from band class to comic art hint at the rock frontman and artist you'd become?
By the way, I just wanted some chocolate milk.
I understand. I've already drank twice.
Repeat that one more time. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. So did an early interest or hobby from band class to comic art hint at the rock frontman and artist that you become?
I mean, so I didn't actually think I would ever be a frontman. This is still weird to me.
Yeah.
You know, I thought I was going to be Slash, you know, play my guitar, play my cool riffs, a little solo. Hey, come up, scream in the mic, or throw a harmony every now and again.
Right.
But like the whole allure of, you know, being in a band and doing that and getting to experience that on a regular basis, like I would say, you know, like the comic books do kind of throw that theatrics aspect into your head as for something grander, you know, and then, you know, the style, and then of course you look at the way that rockers dress and the way that they act, and then the music that they make. Like I would say there's definitely a correlation between that. I used to also pretend that like I was in a band, you know, when I was a kid. Like that was something I would do at sleepovers, you know, with Caleb. Like we would jam like Korn or System of a Down, Mudvayne, Slipknot, and you know, we would sit right there, just air guitar the shit out of it, you know.
Look at where you're at now.
You know, it was cool, man. Like and it was cool because Caleb's room was across just to where we could kind of turn up the stereo, and then he had all these dope ass like blacklight posters and Korn posters and, you know, Papa Roach and Taproot, and like and that's the other crazy thing is that his family was super big into Taproot.
Oh, okay.
Like, especially Miss Susan. Like I want to say Gift was her favorite record from them, but like I very much remember because it would get to a point of where, you know, music it'd start off as the hobby that led to this, honestly, because right. You know, it started at sleepovers at Caleb's because like, you know, Miss Susan would come pick us up Friday afternoon and we would drive to, I guess it was like Circuit City at the time. And we would go through the new rock section, and I remember one year she was like, "New Taproot, it's out. We're going to get it right now." And they would always bring us along to get, excuse me, by the way, to grab, you know, new records. And I remember when we went and picked up Welcome, and
like those are the memories that you live with.
Oh yeah,
not like you said, like the school stuff, but like
no,
stuff like that is just so. You know.
Well, I mean, those were some of the best days, you know, because after you get that record, you know, we listen to it, we probably run through Taco Bell or some shit like that, maybe the video store, and then, like, we get there, everyone's hanging out, having a good time, we pop on, you know, PS1 or whatever, and play video games, we'll watch a scary movie, hang out with the family, and then, you know, after all that's said and done with, you know, that's when the rock show starts, you know, like it was like this whole crazy, and it felt like we were pretending to be rock stars, you know what I'm saying? Like you start out the record store and then you do the hangout and then there's the concert, blah, 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 blah. Like, you know, like it was the lead up to the show, yep. You know, and I just always remember that was one of my favorite childhood memories. I mean, clearly, like I latched on to
for sure
this music, you know, because of that family and the experiences that I had. But like, yeah, I mean that was the hobby. Was pretending to be in a band.
Next wing.
Yeah. Which one is this one? The Los Calientes?
Yep.
Oh, as featured on Hot Ones. Whoa, very cool.
They all are.
Oh, no shit.
All of them are from the 22nd season.
Very cool.
Yep. They charge you an insane amount of money to buy all the sauces at once.
Why wouldn't you, though?
Well, it's good.
It really is.
All right.
Just gremlin eating on camera.
That's all right. You went from being a teenage Taproot fan, watching from the crowd, to actually becoming their first guitarist years later. How did that journey happen, and what was it like the first time you stepped on stage with Taproot?
So it was, like I said, Miss Susan really introduced me to Gift. Again and again, Smile, Come Back, like all, Mirror's Reflection, all the classics. And then, whenever Welcome came out and Poem came out, I mean, it was all over 97.9 CPR. It was all over MTV, and we just, that was another thing that we would do. We would all just get in the living room and just watch MTV and watch music videos because, you would still get rock stuff from there. And I mean, I remember watching those videos with them, and then, that started influencing the way that I was looking at guitar. And then I got to open for them, after starting a band, blah, 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 at the Soul Kitchen in Mobile, Alabama. Ended up hanging out with Phil and Steve, backstage for a little bit, showed them around the building, because that was one of our hometown venues. We could usually sell tickets, and it was a really good size. It still is. It's still banging. It's a great room. Brad and Maggie have done such a good job with that place, and hope y'all are doing well if you see this. We got that show, and had a good time hanging out, didn't exchange info, and then got to play CPR Fest, which was the big rock fest, kind of how like the Riff Fest is up here with 101 The Riff. Same thing with 97.9 CPR back home, where we got put on that festival, and that's my actual hometown, was in Gulfport. And Taproot was playing, and I walked up to Phil, and I was like, "Hey, man, do you remember me?" And he was like, "Yeah, Taylor from Catharsis." And I was like, "The fuck did you just say? Like, hey, why do you remember my name? It's been almost, I don't know, it was like 7 months at that point, and much less my hard-to-pronounce band name that, like, everyone misspelled, mispronounced, blah, 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 blah." So I was just kind of like, holy crap, like, some dude I just... I used to watch on MTV, and like I got in so much trouble one time too because I downloaded remember when like singles were like $2.49 a download, whatever. Well, I probably bought Calling like 10 times with my mom's credit card, and so it was worth it every single time. But you know what I mean? Like there was a real history like with that band, and it just blew my mind that Phil remembered my name, much less my band. And I was like, it's cool, we got to play together again. Would love to support you on tour sometime. Like I don't know who I need to talk to. And then he gets me in touch with his manager at the time, Eric Baker, and Eric hears our record, and I was like, would you want to work with us? And he was like, yeah. And so next thing I know, I'm on the 2013 winter tour with Taproot. We're the opening band. They had A Liar's Eyes as direct support. And just on that tour, man, like, especially me and Dave Coughlin, like, cause he's the one who did the drums on the first Riding with Killers record. And so he's really why I moved to Michigan, cause I wanted to play music with Dave, like, because that's how good of a time we had on tour together and how well we connected. And we still play Call of Duty to this day together. That was how we stayed in touch off tour. That was a way to play, hang out. He's a gamer, I'm a gamer. Yep. He's just my dude. And I hung out with Steve, and I really hung out with Phil though. Like Phil started trying to teach me Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and we started actually having like really cool conversations, like in-depth conversations, and like we would mess with each other, like throw like a crumpled up piece of paper just like as a joke, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we've like, I feel like I hung out with those guys more than I did my own band on that tour. And then we just stayed in touch. And, we had talked about me playing a couple shows with them in like 2014 or 2015, something like that. Cause I know Mike had left the band right after. And, just with me being in Mississippi, it was logistically like not possible. And then, when I got up here, after Dave and I had finished most of the record, Dave sent it to the guys and was like, hey, listen to what Taylor and I just created. And they were like, well, where's he at now? And Dave was like, he moved to Detroit to write a record. And I got a phone call from Phil, and he was like, hey, do you want to join the band? And I was like, what? And it's been such an incredible ride. And the first time I stepped on stage with them was at the Kraft House in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And it was just, it was wild. It didn't feel real, but like, we had rehearsed, and I knew the songs like the back of my hand, and I just went out there and headbanged like I was at that little concert that me and my friend were pretending to have when we were like 14, 15 years old. And it was exhilarating. And the song that I would say still just like every time I start playing, especially at festivals, which we've got some really good ones coming up next month with Upheaval, Incarceration, and Wisconsin Rock Fest. But every time we play Calling, like, because we don't just go into it, like we start creating ambient sound. Like Jared starts off with, a slowed, modified version of the drum beat, that is the main one. And like, I'm kind of noodling around with the first 3 notes of the song, and Steve's just making really cool ambient. Like we're playing around the actual song. But it's like it creates this cool atmosphere, and I get goosebumps every time we do it because
it's not like you're playing it right off the how it's written down. You guys
right.
are like all playing around. It's like,
It's a fun little 10 to 15 second, like, we're creating an atmosphere. But like I remember when that song hit radio. I remember that music video. Like I said, I got in trouble for downloading it with my mom's credit card. Like, just
times. That
song, like, it's just, and then I get to start that, like, it's so cool, and I don't know, it doesn't feel real.
So back to that question on with Taproot, was there any pinch me moments?
Yeah, I mean, like, all of it. All of it. I mean, I could tell you stories for days. Like, even it's so funny because it pisses my producer Jacob off. But I mean, like, every moment was awesome. Like, I can pick you out. Like, even the most mundane stuff, I'm like, this was fantastic because of this. Like, even just great example. Like, I forget where we were, but she and I were just in the green room on a couch watching South Park, hanging out, waiting for sound check. And it was just like, this is what we're doing.
It's like the life of a rock star. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's really it.
You know?
It's like people don't really experience that kind of that joy of being able to produce something that tons of people love.
Yeah.
And you go out there and you perform for all those people, and they
Well, and dude, I'm getting dangerously close to my eyes. Like, I'm such an idiot. That'll make for that'll be the
bad
how we
evening.
do it. But I will say too, a big pinch me moment, and I would say it was more of like relief versus like, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening, but was getting accepted by their fan base because like they care about Taproot, and it's very cool.
Sure.
Like, I've met some incredible people from around the world, from around the country, like people that are flying in from different countries, like, like, because they care about this band. And I'm talking, they're going to the Machine Shop. They're not just going to like Sonic Temple
right.
or, these big festivals to where, you get the opportunity to see 40-something bands or whatever, like, they're coming to club dates and they're surprising us on, like if we see them in Michigan and then we randomly see them in LA,
that's
or
kind of crazy.
It's insane, that's man. Really like, and I didn't want to disappoint any of these people. I mean, like, you still have people that are, because who doesn't want the original band? You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
I get it.
Sure,
like,
but
you're one guy shy. But that's why, like, I take it very seriously, man, because like it's about them and their music and, you know, being a fan of it, like I get to kind of help preserve history to a degree, which is very cool.
Right.
You know, and I was very nervous that, you know, I wouldn't get accepted or whatever, because, you know, like they made a worldwide impact, man. They're not a small band.
No.
You know, like, and it was cool to get accepted by their people and get to know a lot of people from everywhere.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah. Let's go.
Next wing. I don't think this one's that bad either.
I was about to say, are these gonna start getting hot? I say that I'm gonna be on fire when we get to there.
Mm-hmm. Number 8. I'm telling you.
I like this one so far.
Yep. It just kicks in a little bit after you swallow. And I'll be having problems talking after. Just after I swallow. After about 14 years in your first band, right? Which you even opened for big names like Avenged Sevenfold, Korn, made the bold move to start a brand new project, Riding with Killers. What sparked the creation of RWK in 2018?
I was mad at my former bandmates, and so I quit my own band because I don't know, we weren't locking in or lining up, and there was also some other things that don't need to get into, but
You also said something about the like took away like musical rights from the past.
you know, I have no, my name is not on any of that, and it absolutely should be. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like that band was started in my parents' garage. I came up with the names, you know, which actually no, Christopher Mulligan and I came up with Catharsis. That was me and Chris Mulligan, so I do want to say that. But, you know, like, I was the one who got the band off the ground and built it, and then when other people came in, they wanted to rebrand it, but then, like, I came up with the name, I came up with this and that, and blah, 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 and, like, we did co-writing together, but, like, it's my music, you know?
Sure.
Like, a damn good bit of it. So, like, it's just one of those things, man. Like, I didn't want to deal with that ever again, and I also didn't want to have people tell me no when we got tour opportunities, which also happened, you know, like,
Which, yeah, that's
we
not
had
good.
literally just gotten home from a tour with American Head Charge, and it was first time out in West Coast, first time we got to play the Whiskey A Go Go, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, there ain't nothing like your first time driving over Santa Monica Boulevard and you see your name on the marquee and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
Kidding,
it was amazing.
That's awesome.
And so I got a call and basically was like, hey, you know, I got a tour with this band starting up in Washington State. And I was like, fuck, we're about to go hit the PNW. Oh my God, I've never been, always wanted to go. You know, I'm freaking out. And everybody but me says, we just got home, we're tired. And it's like, I'm sorry, what did you just say? It's like, dude, like, bands fight for this.
No kidding.
Tooth and nail. And y'all are saying, no, you're too tired. And
That's crazy.
that also became kind of a current theme in my world, you know, with that. And I wanted to get to a point of where I didn't have that worry anymore. And so I just branched off on my own, started the band, and I ended up here.
So what's the story or meaning behind the name, Riding with Killers?
So with that, I met a guy who is now one of my absolute best friends in the entire world. He's a brother, he's a confidant, he's a friend. He's another, like, one of those, like, hey man, what do you think? Blah blah blah. Like, I care what he thinks, kind of a thing. We met on the set of the Motley Crue movie The Dirt, Netflix movie they did, and we were both extras. excuse me. And for some reason, like, because he's got full sleeves, like they put him in makeup and made it look like he just had. And then I walked in with my sleeves blazing. And he was like, "What the hell?" And I was like, "I don't know, man." And he was like, "They told me you couldn't have full sleeves because that wasn't 80s esque, I guess, back in the day." And I'm just up there, and so we get to talking, find out we know a lot of the same musicians and same people, and you know, I'm at the point of where I'm about to quit quit Wildfire, and you know, tell him about that, and that I just quit my job and I was about to be moving, and he was like, "Well, if you want some extra cash, you know, I could use a hand on a job north of Atlanta, and I'm gonna be wrapping houseboats." And I was like, "Houseboats, wrapping out? What the fuck does that mean?" But he was like, "I'll pay you $2,000 for the week, you know, food, hotel, flights, blah blah blah, paid for." And I was like, "Okay, I could use that extra little bit, and I'll learn something new." And then on the build up to that trip, he changed it from a flight to taking a company vehicle, then to taking a personal vehicle, and then to, well, we got to go drop my car off at my mom's house in Hattiesburg and then get her truck, and then we're going to load all the stuff up there. And then I was like, all right, red flags are just flaring up. And I called a mutual buddy of mine, Matt, and I was like, "Hey, man, is Shane cool? Like, this is what he's doing, you know, but like, am I gonna end up scattered in like 6 trash bags on the highway to Atlanta? Like, is he cool?" And Matt just starts laughing his ass off, and he's like, "Dude, Shane is like one of the coolest dudes you'll ever meet." And he was like, "If this is what he says it's gonna be, that's what it's gonna be." And honestly, man, it turned into one of the coolest work weeks of my life. We busted our asses, but we also like fucking went to a Braves game. Like, we tried a bunch of local spots around Atlanta, and like it was a cool work trip, man. Like, and you know, we were just kind of laughing about me being paranoid, and he was like, "Yeah, I heard you checked into me," and we were. He's like, "I was going to mess with you and tell you that you were part of a drug ring and you couldn't get out of it, but I didn't want you to have a gun on you." And he's like, "But I'm glad you're good. You don't have a gun." And I reached in my backpack and I pulled out my 9mm, and I was like, "You were saying?" And he was like, "Oh shit, you have." I was like, "Yeah, dude, this is our first trip together, man. And like, you literally said like we were going to get here 5 different fucking ways. Like, we don't." Like, I'm pretty sure I trust you, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
So that's how you guys are like riding with killers.
yeah, man. Like, I was thinking about it. Like, and this is after the work week, man. Like, it you know, like I said, man, Shane is one of my best friends, and he always shows up at really pivotal moments in my life as things are changing. I would argue for the better. Like, that was the start of this band, and then he ended up taking me out to work in the Bahamas for 3 weeks, nice. Which we got stranded there, which we really did get stranded there for an extra week because the winds were high. And we were like 300 feet up on swing stages, like wrapping this zip line tower, but it looked like a lighthouse. Mm-hmm. So like we're like, it was wild. And if you go up past... I want to say like 80 feet. It might be even lower than that, but like, and it's over like 20 miles or something like that an hour. Like, you're going to start flying back and forth, and it just wasn't safe. So we ended up getting a couple free days, but, you know, that was right before she and I got together. And, you know, he and I just had dinner the other day when I was out recording. I wasn't recording, but I was there for the drum tracking for the last 5 songs on the new RWK record. But, you know, I'm waiting to figure out what that's going to be because, you know, like I said, he always shows up at these really pivotal moments. Right. But it was just so funny that I thought this dude was, like, going to kill me, and then he turns out to be one of the coolest, kindest people I've ever met in my entire life. And we busted our asses, man. Like, we did some really cool work. And met some cool people, had some great experiences, but, you know, like riding with killers popped in my head, you know, because I was just kind of laughing at myself for my paranoia. But then I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And I jumped on the internet, and there was never another band called that. And I was like, I can have fun with this. I can make cool merch. I can maybe one day, you know, make a comic book or you know, something like that based around it. Or or if I wanted to include movie villains, or if I wanted to be taboo, you know, like Acid Bath, you know, with the John Wayne Gacy and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? It was like I saw so many potential options of something that I could just have fun with, and I really liked it, and so I went with that. Yeah.
Nice wing.
Yes.
It's going to get hot for you in a couple, I think.
Let's go.
I don't think it's going to get hot anytime soon for you, but it is for me. So, we do like just like on a show, right?
We watch the show.
So what would you think this was from? Like,
So that is from the set of the Hostility music video that we did in Grand Rapids with Revo Media.
nice,
My buddy Jason.
nice.
That was from a shoot with one of my favorite photographers, Elise Coates. She has a very, very cool eye. I really like doing artsy style shoots with her, and we did this in a clothing shop.
Okay.
But it was like this really cool high end clothing shop. But like in the back, they had like all the extra stuff that needed to be altered or whatever. But like it was a huge room, and it was like you could take photos and stuff. Like it was a really cool space, and we just had a bunch of fun. You know. Same photo shoot.
Same photo shoot.
Yep. That's one of my favorite photos that we've ever done. I don't know. She just nailed it on the color, on like, I don't know. It's just a good photo.
Do you guys have like does she have like all the lights in there and stuff in that back room?
Yeah. I mean, and she has her own ring lights and stuff like that, or not ring lights, but like I think she has like different LEDs and whatnot. This was from an interview. Oh, which that was with Jamie, right? That was a good one. I was at work. Yeah, which is where I'm at most times. Dude, that's how I have to do it sometimes, bro. Like, I got to do some of these interviews while I'm on the job site because, like, you know, I pay for everything. I don't have a label. I don't have rich parents. Like,
right.
I got to do my own thing. So, that's the way that I know how to do it right now.
Right. Next wing.
That one had some decent kick to it.
A lot of kick on me.
So we're on number 247.
Yep.
Ooh, is this that's really good. I like how it's got the goat on it
Something, that's for sure. Rock shows and tours always come with some wild fan interactions and behind the scenes shenanigans. I've heard two legends. One, that your own bandmates tease you about being mistaken for Slipknot's Corey Taylor. Apparently, people have actually confused you for him multiple times. And two, that you had a memorable encounter meeting the ladies from Kitty in Las Vegas, since you were a huge fan as a teen. So I've got to ask, what's the craziest or funniest story you can share from your life on tour?
Craziest, I almost got hit by a fucking Amtrak train in San Diego, being exactly where I should not have been. So that was pretty awful. But I would say like meeting Jim Root and then just casually having an organic guitar conversation for a solid 10 minutes was very cool.
Yeah.
That you know, like they sometimes say don't meet your heroes, but like I'm glad I'm actually really glad of all of my ooh, wow. It's like I'm okay. It's just it's weird to talk.
It is. It is.
It's crazy.
It does. It definitely affects you in different ways.
But like Jim actually sitting there and having like it wasn't like he was like, all right, kid, you know, like he was genuinely interested, and I got to nerd out about guitars with one of my guitar heroes, and that was so very cool. And kind of like I did the same thing talking amps with Mark Tremonti, you know, and like he walked up to the band and was like, hey, how's it going? Like just so humble, down to earth, and you know he's another one of my top 3 guitar players that like I love as a songwriter, musician, shredder, like riffs, you know, all that other stuff. But I would say meeting Jim Root, like I almost fucking cried after that. I'm pretty sure. Did I? I might have cried. I might have cried a little bit.
She said,
a little bit.
A little bit.
It was just like, oh my god, he's so nice.
Next wing, the hot one.
This is the one that tastes fucking terrible, as you said, right?
Yes, it does. I don't know. I don't think I put that much on yours.
Why not?
Because it's bad.
I don't know. It's not terrible. But I mean I don't know. Not my first go-to in terms of flavor.
Not mine at all.
Being a heathen over here.
Oh God. Mm-mm. No. No, not for me.
Well, so this is like the first time I've eaten today, so I'm just like.
So am I.
So.
I had one hard-boiled egg earlier. That's what I'm saying. It just lingers in my back of my throat. You're fine, though. Your music journey has been anything but ordinary, from gigging at 14 to touring internationally. One standout story is that you spent a month in Gothenburg, Sweden, recording an album, working in one of the country's oldest theaters, and taking vocal lessons from world-class singers. Oh, gosh. Woo! That's not something most American rockers experience. What did that adventure teach you, personally or musically?
Oh, my God. A lot. I got to walk the studio every single day. It was like maybe a 15-minute walk. Not bad. But, like, just to take in an old city and then to know that, like, so much, you know, amazing metal, rock, just music in general, not only came from that city specifically, but that country as a whole. It connected a lot of dots for me. Like, Jacob, my producer, like, he's, you know, like, he kind of connected, like, he connected those dots. Like, so many things that I didn't realize were Swedish, you know, I've had around me my entire life. And it's
It's the backing so bad.
it's weird because it's like I'm not like freaking out, but like it just
burns from my.
It makes my like makes it hard to talk.
Yes, it does.
But it, you know, like it really got me in such a cool headspace to create, and we did a lot of vocal melody writing and lyric writing there. And I'm supposed to go back some point this year. We're going to do some vocal pre-production in New Orleans, I think, September, and then get back over there either sometime between October and December. But like, I don't know, man. It's just, and then you're in the Store Theater, which is what was it, over 300 years old, something like that. Maybe a little more, but like, it was cool, man. And Jacob is very strict. Like he is very precise. Like, it's insane how good he is, how musical he is, and how intent he is, you know, with his suggestions. And I would say he's 99.999% correct most of the time, which I know he'd probably slap me for even saying he's less than perfect. But like, you know, making music with him has made me a better musician by far, a better guitar player, a better singer. He's made me, like, we've done some goofy ass time signatures on some of these songs, but like, it's some of my proudest work. It's, I would argue, some of the most complex stuff we've ever done. Like, Devin Clark, who did the drums, like, he had to break out sheet music and notate the drums, because that's how crazy and wild, you know, they are. But like, and then getting to take vocal lessons from Andy and Jake, the original singers of Amaranth. You know, like, they're world-class singers. Like Andy's a world-class screamer, Jake is a world-class singer, and I mean, like, dude's got gold records. You know what I mean? Like, he's, you know, like, he's a certified badass. They both are, and the fact that they took time to sit down with me, you know, it made me want to be better. Made me want to try to take care of myself more, take care of my voice more, because
This ain't helping.
you know, oh man, it's, you know, like I said, we're clearing out the sinus cavities right now, which is nice. I'm starting to be able to breathe a little bit better, but at the same time, I can't. It's like killing the air in my throat. But you know, like these guys took time out of their day to sit with me and to talk with me and to show me techniques, and you know, and then the same thing with Jacob. Like, I mean, he's got, you know, gold records, and I mean, he's a world-class producer. He's produced, you know, Anthrax, Machine Head, In Flames, Vola, Evergrey, and like just so many big bands. Like, he didn't have to work with me, you know.
Right.
But he gave me an opportunity, and you don't waste that.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm some kid from Mississippi, and I'm making a record on the other side of the world.
You think about that, like, going back to, like, you know, I'm trying to be playing a rock musician when I'm young, and now, I mean,
and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not proud of it. I mean, I kind of am, because it was super fucking rock star. Like, I'm not a big drinker, but Jacob had me out till about 6 a.m. drinking the day of my flight, so I didn't go to sleep. And I got on that plane, like, our flight was at 6:30. And so, like, we got to the airport just in time. And I did that flight. What felt like started as still kind of drunk to hungover. And it was like 17 hours. But I was like, you know, I'm on the way back from Sweden, and I'm making a fucking rock and metal record. It's okay. I should really relish this. And I do, honestly, I think fondly back to that plane ride, and like one of the funniest parts of it, and you know, because on a big flight like that, like, they're going to give you time to sleep and everything. This little 14-year-old girl behind me starts blasting K-pop on her, like, PSP or whatever, like, no headphones, no nothing. To the point of where people are starting, like, what is that? What am I here? You know, and so I was like, hey, would you mind turning that the fuck down, please? Thank you. Like, I mean, like, I probably shouldn't have said turning that the fuck down, but like, I was really sweet about it. But like, dude, everybody's sleep deprived, and like, I'm, you know, still kind of faded, and she turned it down.
next wing.
I'm going back to the Fallen
This is number 10 or 9, right? Alongside making music, you're also the owner of Rock and Roll Painting, a commercial painting business in Detroit. It's not every day you meet a rock frontman who also paints houses and historic buildings on the side. How did the venture start, and what inspired the name?
Well, I've been a painter for a very, 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 very long time.
Yeah.
I had my first professional painting job when I was like 15. Worked for Chris Papania, who I met through Pinkston's, coincidentally. And it got to a point of where, like, before the summer was over, I had a small crew under me. I was like 15.
Wow.
And everyone was like, why is this little kid telling us what to do? And I was like,
Because you know.
but like my grandpa had a brush in my hands from an early age. You know, he used to paint airplanes, but he also, you know, those tables that are like maybe 3 times the size of this, but you build a mountain and a train track and a little tunnel for the train to go through, and then a town, and you paint like my grandpa did stuff like that, and he did it really, really well. Like it looked like, I mean, it looked professionally done, and I mean, like, you know, because it was. He's a pro. I mean, like, he used to have people fly in from around the country to paint their airplanes, you know. And so, like, he had a brush in my hands doing, like, model airplanes. Every now and again, I would get him to do a Gundam with me because I liked anime as well. And we'd do a couple Star Wars things here or there, like an X-Wing or whatever. But we would always build, like, military fighter jets and stuff like that because, you know, he was in the Air Force and planes are his thing. So, you know, yeah.
You like that one?
It was pretty good.
It's better than number 8.
I'm not gonna lie, I totally spaced there for a second. Because, like, yeah.
No big deal. Last wing, ready?
Oh, dude, hold on. No, I just regained my train of thought.
Oh, for the name?
Yes. So, like I said, man, I dive in the weeds, and then I'm like, what was I doing again?
Squirrel.
Dude, severe ADHD as a Ritalin kid,
Yeah.
100%. But anyway, so painting was always, dude, it's so funny. You got to leave the pause in there where it's just like, oh, I got it. But like, painting was always something that I could come off a tour and make decent money at, quick money. And, you know, I started working for, I think it was like the 3rd largest commercial company on the Gulf Coast. And we had apartments all the way from Pass Christian, I think, Mississippi, to Grand Bay, Alabama. And I did that for a really long time. Then when I started moving up here, worked for a couple guys in Ohio. And then when I moved to Detroit, I started working for a commercial painting business, and I was doing like Henry Ford Hospital, like, do you know New Center 1 building by chance?
Yeah. Yep.
I did all 8 floors of that. Same thing, man. Like, I quickly got a crew under me. I started on New Center 1, and that job was behind like 6 or 7 months, and I caught it up in 2. I don't know. I feel like those are my 2 trades in life: is painting and music,
Painting and playing the guitar.
And then, you know, like, I don't really use a sprayer, man. I hand roll everything. I feel like you're gonna get a better product at the end of the day. And it's like, well, this is funding my rock and roll dreams and my passions, and I roll the walls out, and I don't look like your typical painter, but I also look like the guy that would put color on your walls. 'Cause, I mean, like,
Sure.
you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
I look like the guy that paints your house. You know, I thought that would be cool because, you know, like, I play in a couple big rock bands, and, you know, it's just what we do. And I thought rock and roll painting would be fun, and here we are.
There you go. Nice. Last wing.
All right.
You want to do a little dab?
Yeah.
That's what they normally do on the show. They do a little dab extra on it.
All right.
I don't know how this is going to come out, but we'll see. Like I said, I've had these for a little bit of time.
It's powered by the fire of 1,000 suns. Because my luck is it's just going to and splatter everywhere. Is that good?
That's whatever you want it to be.
Cool. Well, if we're going to do it, let's just go for broke.
Yes. All right, here we go.
That's a decent amount, huh?
Yep.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I think that's the worst tasting one. Jesus Christ. You're just trying to hurt people at that point. I do want some more of this, though. This was my favorite. So good.
Yes, that wing's a heavy one. Woo. Gosh.
Yeah, that flavor is rocking.
Literally and figuratively. That's heavy. A few years ago, you were nearly 250 pounds. And you made a dramatic transformation down to about 160 pounds. That's roughly 90 pounds shed. What ignited that change for you? Can you walk us through the moment you decided to overhaul your health and the hardest part of that journey?
I would say my divorce really kickstarted that. Yeah, it's not bad heat-wise. It just tastes like ass.
It's terrible for heat-wise.
But, you know, like, I got really, really unhealthy. I hated the way that I looked in the mirror. I knew that I could be better, and my buddy approached me the right way. You know what I mean? Like, oh, dude, I'm starting to cry.
So am I. Oh, God.
You're like, I'm fine, but it's like, my body's like, bro, why aren't you doing anything? But yeah, I had a friend, you know, who knew that I was looking to make the change, and he approached me the right way, and you know, because that's something you got to be very careful about. You know, that's a sensitive subject for a lot of people, and he just did it the right way, and I started dropping weight. And I mean, like, I went up and down, you know, like as you do, but like, I just started feeling better and better with where I was at. Then when I got up here and I started playing music with James Lascu, the bassist, like, he did 70% of the bass in Full Circle, and he did 100% of the new record. He's one of my favorite people in the world. But like, James is a very fit human being. Like, good looking dude, like super muscular, like, and he's one of those people, like, you know, I was like, well, if he's going to share information with me, I'm going to listen.
Yeah.
And he helped me with some eating habits that really helped me, you know, kind of break past the barrier to get to that point. But it was a lot of failure. I mean, like, I failed over the winter, you know, but working my way back down, and it's just one of those things. I want to create longevity and health, not only for me, but for Macy and my family, and I want to be a joy to be around when I'm older, and I want to be that guy that's, yeah, I'll go on the hike, or, you know, as much preventative measure as you can. You know, life happens, stuff.
Right.
You know, you can be perfectly healthy and then some crazy shit happens, but, you know, like, I like being able to do stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
For sure.
and as I've gotten older, I've realized, like, I like being outdoors more, and hiking and swimming, and you know, the more that I can be closer to the earth and all that I want to be.
Right.
You know, and I don't want to limit my time with that.
Right.
And I don't want to limit my time being able to be on stage and have fun and, you know, perform well.
I got a little tear. Not from your stories from the heat. So how does just on Earth you balance all that? Like everything, like, you know, you're touring. You're touring, you're recording, and then thriving business for painting. I mean, right? That's a lot.
I mean, I worked a 20-hour day before I came here. Left work at 5:45, got home at like 6:30. For some reason, my body was like, "Hey, man, it's 9:45. Get up," and here I am.
Right.
So, you know, I woke up and I was like, "Well, this is bullshit," but I guess.
Right. I thought you'd be sleeping at least until noon or 1 o'clock.
I tried to, but you know, we lounged. I beat Star Wars Jedi Survivor, so I could stop annoying her. It's a good game. It's a very good game. Good story, good graphics, and what's his name that plays Cal? He's Ian in Shameless.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I
Yes.
feel like a butthole because like I just spent so much time with him, both on TV and in the video game. Either way, but like, great actor. But yeah, you know, I just took it easy today, and
You just
and then
work
I
it.
leave for tour tomorrow.
Nice. Nice. You did it.
We did it.
All 10 wings.
Hell yeah, man, that was fun. That was a good time.
So you got this camera and that camera, or that camera. You just tell people how they can get a hold of you, how they can find you, what they can do.
Writingwithkillers.com is where you can find our merch, show dates, links to, you know, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff, iTunes, Apple Music, Instagram, writingwithkillers_official, and then follow Taproot, and then Taproot on Facebook, and yeah, we're out there, man.
Nice. Got a new album coming out?
I'm finishing up the second Writing with Killers record. We're starting vocal pre-production in September, and then hoping to go back over for another month, which I would like to do, you know, record the vocals, and then Jacob and I are actually going to mix the record, which I've never gotten to do before, you know, so it'll be cool, but I'm in no rush. Like, I want to release this the right way. I want to find the right people to partner with, because I don't want to just fart this out to the world and pray to God that it does something. So right. I want to be very meticulous and calculated, because it's a special record. You know, between James and Devin Clark and Jacob and myself, like, I feel like it's a very special record. I feel like everybody really showed up and gave 150%, and we took a cool left turn from what we've previously released. I mean, I think it'll still sound like Writing with Killers, just, you know, just a different flavor.
Right.
And I'm really thankful for that. Like, I've been listening to just raw mixes from the board, just like a quick, like, let me turn something up or down, you know, like, for probably a year and some change now, and they still, like, to know that they're not done, they're still that good. Like, it's
Gotcha.
It's pretty cool. I'm really excited. So I don't know. Hopefully the next 12 months, we'll see.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Having me, man.
Oh yeah.
This is fun. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go to a restaurant now.